Now, and then beyond these smart contracts, you will see people running applications, blockchain applications, right? So it is an application running with blockchain as the backbone.
It's called DApp.
DApp with blockchain is called DApp. So, well, similarly, because if you can run lines of code, you can actually run a software program. Okay, but there are many ways of running it. I don't want to go into too technical now, because because when you run a program, you need hash power, and when you need hash power, you're actually using up the network's resources. And when you use up the network resources, you will have to pay for it, just like you have to pay for labor, you have to pay for rental. Okay, because you are using more resources, right? And of course, if the crypto or the token of that blockchain is expensive, then your cost will go up very fast, okay, and very high. And that's the problem that Ethereum is now currently facing.
So
right?
actually what you have alluded to is blockchain 2.0, which is Ethereum and Ethereum-like blockchains. I think we also need to make sure that everybody understands that there is a difference here between the Bitcoin, because I think you did mention before, it says that, Bitcoin is blockchain, but blockchain is not Bitcoin. I think that one actually goes and it stayed with me for years. That, when we talk about Bitcoin, yes, it is because it is a blockchain base. But when we talk about blockchain, this goes much, much more beyond Bitcoins.
You have reminded me that I've almost left out a very important aspect. That is the public and private enterprise blockchain.
Exactly.
Right? You see, the beauty of blockchain is just like what I've said just now. Because total strangers come and do the mining, means you have total strangers becoming accountants. Right? And when you have total strangers, you cannot bribe them. Because you don't know them, you don't know who they are, you don't know where they are. So that is,
and even then you can't bribe the entire network.
You can't. Right? So it's very, very hard. And the fact is very hard and makes it very trustworthy. And that is what we call public blockchain. Public means that anybody can be a miner. You don't need any permission. Okay, anyone, you can just download a blockchain wallet. You can start a miner. You do not need anybody's permission. You can just join in. Okay, that is called public blockchain, right? Private blockchain means a few friends, we have agreed that is to be played like that, and then we play the game. So actually, if you ask me, private blockchain is not real blockchain. If you trust me, you trust me anyway, right? And some, to beautify, they call enterprise blockchain. There's still a private blockchain. So to me, it's not a real blockchain. Okay, this is a point.
Maybe you can share which are the ones that are private blockchains, the more popular ones. I know Ripple is a private blockchain.
Ripple is a private blockchain.
And Ripple is now being used by a lot of banking systems, definitely, because to do their back-end settlements and all that kind of thing as well. I think CIMB has already started with Ripple. Yeah.
Hyperledger?
Hyperledger is a mix, isn't it?
Mix.
Hyperledger is a mix.
Still private. In the essence, it's still private.
Hyperledger is actually big boy by IBM and Cisco, and the big boys of IT as well.
Yeah. Okay. So after making that point, the point I want to make is because I've said, right, you can actually create a lot of DApps onto the blockchain. Why? Because DApps are applications to do some functions. Okay, like just now I say, it's a weather gambling app, for example. Okay, then you have an application. Or I said voting app. Okay, you vote, and then you can have an app. Okay, or you say e-commerce web. Okay, e-commerce DApp. Okay, like Newmore, right? So you have a e-commerce, but actually the backbone is blockchain. So you see, multiple applications can be built on the public blockchain. Okay, that's what makes it strong. So the public blockchain actually acts as an infrastructure for all the applications to be up there. And Propi app is also built in the manner of a public blockchain. Okay, why I say it's in a manner, because we are building the infrastructure. We build the infrastructure, we provide the tools. For every parameter, we will make every parameter to be user-defined. Okay, so the system we design is this Propi app is. Many people think, oh, you're designing another property app or whatever. They will be thinking of another business model. How are you going to run this business? No, We are not going to set any hard and fast rules for this because we are not a business model. Propi app is an infrastructure with a lot of tools, and all the parameters will have a default and user defined. I don't know, to a non techie, this could be a bit mouthful. It just simply means we do not fix the rules of the game. I give you an example. Okay, most of you know Uber, you know Grab, right? So you see, Grab is like the boss of the Grab system, right? They set the game, the rules of the game, right? So if like, oh, how many drive rides you take, this is your commission. You will earn a reward for this, for an extra. You will get this, you get that. How much you get? How much I get? How much you get? So you see, this is how like Uber or Airbnb or Grab, how they set the business model. They determine how the game is being played. Right? Not Propi app. Propi app, we develop ourselves like a public blockchain. We provide the infrastructure, we provide the tools. How much commission you want to offer to who, how much you want to pay to who, how much you want to stake or whatever. Yes, for the benefit of the common users, we will have a default value. Means market practice normally is how much we will have that value. So if you do not want to know anything, you just want to be easy and lazy, you can just click done. All will be market default. No worries. But if you have other ideas, you want to adjust this lower a bit, this higher a bit, yes, then you can set the parameters are all user defined. I think the next example, the best example you can understand is, now you use your phone, your smartphone, you can set the wallpaper, you can set your color, you can set your own ringtone. You understand that? That is what we call user defined. You can personalize it. Right? You can personalize it. But when you receive your iPhone and when you receive any of your Android phone or Huawei phone,
factory default.
It comes in the default. It's factory default, right? It already has a screen, already have a wallpaper, already have, the basic apps there. Right? That's why default. So similarly, in Propi app, we will have many parameters. We will have the default value. But for every parameter also, it can be user defined. It can be personalized. That is why I always say, remember, we are not building a business model. We are building an infrastructure with tools. And then we let the free market determine what is the best to run. And that is why I say, not only we come from the future, the design by itself is also future-proof.
In essence, actually, a lot of the things that we have already built into our Propi structure, organizational structure, even infrastructure, have had a lot of that flavor, and that's why a lot of people are still, they still don't get it. They still ask a lot of questions because they feel like it is a normal tech. They feel like it's a normal infrastructure, but actually, a lot of the infrastructure are already much further than what we are expecting. But it takes a while for us to again educate.
Yes, and also I want to mention about the Propi points. In any system, whether it is AirAsia or whether it's bonus link or any reward program, right? They will have reward points, right? So reward points, the company can create rewards for you, right? You want this, they create reward, the company can create. But Propi points is a very special thing. It's not like a normal loyalty point. And I think our accounts department and finance, we have not only debate, but even quarrel over the treatment of this, because it is unprecedented. There's never been anything close like to it. Okay, because first of all, the company cannot create Propi point. The company does not have any right to create Propi coin. The Propi points are just like crypto mining. They are created by the users of the system. It's like they're created by the miners. The company cannot say, I call the tech department, hey, Sashi, can you create 1,000 Propi point for me? Cannot.
Can enterprise blockchain lah.
Enterprise blockchain maybe can, I don't know.
1 billion tokens coming out.
But Propi cannot. So the Propi point can only be created through the actions of the users. That benefits the ecology.
Yeah.
So if the users registers and put in his or her KYC, that is beneficial. He gets property point. And when this user share the link to the friends and get another user to property, he also get property points. So the property points are generated and created by the users, not by the company, and never by the company. And we are very strict to put this into our SOP, our audit SOP, to check all these things, right? And then the company will never, okay, property as a company will never sell or buy back these property points, but will only accept it as part of the payment for the services at a certain value. Okay, that is also another thing, a very special thing, and there's no expiry date. So it actually, the nature functions almost exactly
Like a coin.
like any crypto. So this is also part of the design of property, which is actually very blockchain. So when people ask, when they see my face, and they will say, Wilson, you're starting a project, must be blockchain, right? I really don't know how to answer, right? Because it's not blockchain, but it's very blockchain.
Blockchain-like. It's just like you're not childish, you're childlike. This is not blockchain, but it's blockchain-like. But I do feel that it is important for us to also allude to everyone that because of the flavor and the flow that we're heading, I do not see how it is not going to be in the very near future. Because if it's just a matter of, for me, I think a lot of times the real issue is not about regulation, it's about legislation. It is how governments start to, in fact, right now, I just read, I think it was Fortune that says that GovCoin, governments are now starting to move into government endorsed coins, crypto coins.
Just
and
like
it's
China, right?
just like China already. And if these are some of the news that is already out there in the market that actually points to where we are heading into the future. It's just a matter of legalizing it, legislation, before you talk about regulations, which eventually is going to come very soon. We don't know. I don't know when it's going to be.
Yeah,
5,
but the problem
10,
is people
years.
cannot differentiate between a government-controlled so-called digital currency and crypto. People will think that, now the government has done this, and now
Must be
crypto
good.
must be good, and then
must be
crypto
good. It's already been imbued into
accepted.
your mindset. So the moment that when government does something, it has to be good. So we are actually challenging
And at the
that
same
mindset
time,
as well.
everybody just criticize the government, and then they will still say government is good.
Okay, that's the topic for another day. I think we can leave that for another session. If anybody's interested in politics and government, we are still on the topic of blockchain.